Caspar on the 30th of May 2025. And I've done a few tastings recently of wines we sold a long time ago, and here's a wine we sold not that long ago. I would think 2 or 3 years ago. This is a Spanish white wine. This is 2021 Albillo Real is a grape variety. The cuvee is called Valautin. And the producer Cadimat, and we're in the Gredos Mountains here near Madrid, so it's labelled Dio Vinos de Madrid. 14% alcohol. It's quite a boldly coloured wine. I think it's taken on colour with a bit of bottle age, but looks healthy, radiant, lovely. Albillo, just had a quick reminder of Albillo. There are several different Albillos. I don't think they're related. And as usual, as often the case with Iberian grape varieties, these things are quite confusing. You know, unrelated grapes having very similar names. This is Albillo Real, which is different, obviously different from the other Albillo wines, Albillo Mayor, and a number of others. Here we are, and it's nothing overtly sort of sweetly fruity about it. Well, it's got a sweetness, but sweetness of dried fruit and fruit skins, rusted apple skins. It's quite a sort of dry smelling nose. There's perhaps some herbal notes in there and a bit of golden delicious. It's not an aromatic wine, but it's got some very nice aromas all the same. Summery yellow fruits, but a bit of pear as well, and a floral scent. Freesias maybe. I mean, the sweetness of the nose is within that floral smell, and perhaps even Philadelphus. Interesting. Well, that savoury thing sort of pushes through onto the palate, where there's a dried fruit element, almost smokily dried fruit, that runs right through it. The fruit clads a sort of core of structure, not very high acidity, and I think Albillo Real often is quite low in acidity, but I don't think it's lacking in freshness as a wine. But the fruit clads a line of structure that emerges at the end in this sort of dry, almost sort of pumice mineral texture that gives a skeleton to the and shape to the fruit. Really interesting. It's almost like red fruit. Red apple skin character to it. And this is warming all the time, and of course, as with most dry white wine, serving it straight out of the fridge is asking to have a lot of the character of the wine masked and covered up by the cold. Always best to let them warm up a bit, and I'm just rolling it around in the palm of my hand, and the warmth of my hand will warm it fairly quickly, actually, if I swirl at the same time. And the character's changing. Perhaps the herbal character becoming more distinct. I think it's fascinating, and I think it's a wine that quite a lot of people would pick up and drink and go, you know, there's not a great deal here, but it's one of those wines where if you stop and think about what's in your mouth, and this is, you know, what, if you're interested in wine, this is what you should do every time you're handed a glass of wine. you know, temptation is to start drinking it and carrying on with what you're doing without actually engaging your brain in the experience. But if you stop and think about what's going on here, there's a great deal more than is at first apparent, and that is evidenced by this dry, almost volcanic earthiness that's left on the tongue, like, almost like dry soil or ground pumice. It's a bit of a WIWAD wine. I have these wines I call WIWAD, which is Wish I Were a Dog, because I know if I had the dog senses I would be finding infinitesimal and fascinating aromas and flavours in it that are having human senses I can't quite pick up. But even with human senses, what I'm picking up is something that's really unusual, really fascinating, and I think something that's far from ordinary, actually. I think it's a fascinating wine. There we go. Not sure what else more I can say, but it's one of those wines where, yeah, as I say, there's more going on than I can possibly put into words and possibly even pick up. But there we are, 2021 Albillo Real Valautin from the Cadimat in the Galeros Mountains outside Madrid in Spain. It's a completely delicious and quite cerebral wine. It's really interesting.